Hey guys, today's profile review is the 1 in 100 profiles that I get because honestly, this player, as you can see here on his mobilytics, has a big champion pool. He's playing 5 champions so far, and they've all got at least a 54% win rate or higher, as well as he's got his jacks now at a 67% win rate. So this silver player theoretically has 6 top lane champions that could climb him to platinum. However, we need to narrow that down, or do we? In this profile review, I'm going to break down everything a player like this has to do in order to climb out of silver, to climb out of gold, and to get to their goal rank in platinum. We're going to be focusing on optimizing your champion pool, focusing on high deaths, fixing your CS per minute, and looking at how we could win laning phase more consistently. Now, before we get into the profile review, if you want your own profile review just like this one, please check out the link in the YouTube description below, as well as if you're interested in the coaching solution I talk about towards the end of this video, you can book a free one-on-one call with me over Discord today in the links below as well. Let's get into the video. So currently you are silver 1 with the goal of getting to platinum. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to basically break down everything you as an individual solo queue player need to focus on in order to go from silver to gold, eventually to platinum. And at the end, I'm going to show you or tell you more about the best or most effective way or accelerating your learning through all the natural processes that generally a silver player has to go through to get to gold and then eventually to platinum. Cool. So the 4 things we're going to be focusing on for this profile review for you are your champion pool, how many times you're dying in a game, your CS per minute, and your laning phase. Because one of the problems you said you had was winning laning phase so that you can carry more effectively. So we'll go into that towards the end of the video. Now, the first one I want to talk about is your champion pool, because you have quite a unique position here. Looking at your mobilytics, I can actually see that you're one of the rare silver top laners where you actually have 5 champions with decent win rates. Generally, I say we only play champions with a 55% win rate or higher. But I can see here that, you've got your Darius, your Nasus, your Kench, and your Sion, all above 55%. And then we've got your Fiora that's sitting just below 55%. So the first thing I would want you to do is, 1, it looks like only about 50 to 60% of your games were played on your top 5 most played champions, which suggests to me that you like playing a lot of top laners. However, playing too many top laners isn't effective for climbing. You can see here that even though your win rates on your most played champions are so high, your overall top lane win rate and your account win rate, obviously this is for this season, is only at 57%, which is actually lower than your lowest win rate champion in your top 5 most played, if that makes sense, Seth. So that's why having a champion pool and playing that champion pool to like 90 to 100% of your games is so important, because that champion pool, and when you have a small one that you've got mastery over, you're going to win more games in the long run, and therefore you're going to climb easier, you're going to climb faster, and you should enjoy the game more. Now, with your champion pool, if I was you and I was trying to, narrow it down a bit to be like, okay, well, what are the 3 champions I can focus on to climb out of silver, out of gold, and eventually into platinum as a top laner? I would honestly say I think Darius is in a really good spot right now, and I don't think he's going to get nerfed. I think Sion is about to get buffed. I'm not sure if you're playing him much anymore at the moment, though. It doesn't look like you're playing him too much anymore, so we might put him on the back burner. But what I could say is maybe your Darius, your Jax. I can see you've picked Jax up in the preseason and you're doing quite well on him. I believe he's getting buffs this patch as well. So I would say maybe your Darius, your Jax, and then you could choose either your Nasus, your Kench, or maybe your Sion as a nice little tank pick for, if you're versing another tank, or your team needs a big front line. You could maybe, focus on having a Kench or a Sion or a Nasus in your champion pool. But I wouldn't go beyond more than 3 champions, Seth. And now, looking at your current playstyle, I can tell you're probably going, well, I want to play more than 3 champions. And so what I would recommend, if you are wanting to do that, but you're still wanting to climb to platinum, because Honestly, it's very rare that a silver player can climb to platinum playing a champion pool larger than 3 champions. It's not impossible, but you're just going to give yourself, it's going to make it harder and it's going to take longer. And, you know, if you're okay with taking a slow journey from silver to gold to platinum, that's fine. Maybe you can keep doing this because as long as you can maintain an overall win rate of 55%, then you will eventually get there. It's just going to take more games. However, if you do like 1 to 3 champions and you main them on this account, and then you get a second account and play ranked on that account, and play all the other champions that you love to play in top lane, mid lane, wherever, if you want to expand into other roles, and you pick them only on your second account, and you keep this main account with your highest performing top laners. You know, basically your 1 to 3 champions that have at least a 55% win rate or higher and that you enjoy. Because right now you've got a great big pool and you're quite unique to a lot of top laners in silver. You've got a really good pool of champions to choose from of going like, oh, which champion do I actually want to carry with, or which champions do I want to play and climb to platinum with? So you're in a really good position, Seth, and I would definitely suggest you use that 2 ranked account strategy to continue having a large champion pool and learning new champions and scratching that itch, because it's clear to me you like to play a lot of champions, but also making sure that your main account has a really efficient, clean, and easy way to climb to platinum. Because if you're playing too many champions, it's going to fuck your MMR because it's going to cut or make your win rate dive, which we don't want. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is your deaths. So regardless of what champions you pick in the top lane, right now you're dying on average about 7.2 times per game, and I can see in your last 60 games it's 7.1. So the problem hasn't really changed in the preseason. Now, the good news is that you're still able to maintain a 59% win rate, even though you're dying 7.1 times a game, 7.2 times a game. So the good news is you are a phenomenal carry and you have a lot of impact. And even though you're dying that much, your deaths could be good, or you're still having enough impact on the game overall that having a slightly higher death average than what is desired to climb is okay. However, you are going to have to monitor how many times you're dying, Seth, because you really want to get this down to about 5.5. Because as you climb into gold and platinum, you're going to start versing better players who are going to punish your deaths. You're going to lose more platings. You're going to lose more CS. You're going to lose more tempo. You're going to get your team further and further behind the higher you go if you keep your high death rate. So in a long story short, your death rate is okay for silver, but we really need to be cutting that down with the goal of trying to get to about 5.5 deaths per game as you climb into gold and eventually into platinum. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is your CS per minute. Now, for a silver 2 player, your CS per minute is okay, 5.9, 5.6. It's on the low end, I would say, from all the silver top laners I've reviewed and coached. However, it's acceptable at the moment. But as, again, similar to your deaths, as we climb into gold and platinum, we are going to need as much of the gold from minions as possible to not only fix the problem that you've identified in your head of, I need to win laning phase harder so I can carry, but also because you're going to be versing better players who are better at CSing. And if you're averaging 5.5 CS and you're trying to climb to platinum, it's just not going to happen because the average plat top laner can average anywhere from 7 to 9 CS per minute pretty comfortably. So again, similar to your deaths, looking and working on your CS per minute is going to be one of those areas you're definitely going to have to focus on in this season. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this is the problem you stated, was you're having difficulty, or you want to get better at winning laning phase and then carrying your team. Now, the good news is, on average, you actually come out plus 100 gold in laning phase. So you are winning laning phase, but you could be winning it more. Generally, when a top laner comes to me and they're like, I want to win laning phase harder, I give them the goal of aiming for about plus 200 or plus 300 gold difference at 15 minutes. And then we get into a game review and I show them exactly what they need to do to earn that extra 200 gold consistently before 15 minutes every game. And that's basically laning phase solved. If you can average plus 200, plus 300 gold difference at 15 as a top laner, you're generally winning laning phase at a comfortable amount, and that is enough to carry. You just need to know how to carry, which is that next step once you've got your laning phase mastered. Now, again, the other things that I think are going to contribute to you having a stronger laning phase are, one, your champions are quite inconsistent. So we can see that Darius, on average, you're plus 757. Then we go to Nasus, you're negative 450 gold. Then Kench, you're plus 176. Sion, you're plus 145. And Fiora, you're negative 619. So there's a lot of inconsistency here, which is probably leading to your issue in your head of like, maybe I'm not very good at laning phase, when in reality you are good at laning phase, but only on some champions. And it comes back to that earlier point I was talking about, is why a small champion pool is so important, is because when we only focus on a small pool of champions and we play League, we remember everything. Like, Fiora's laning phase is very different to Darius's laning phase, which is very different to Nasus's laning phase, which is very different to Sion's laning phase. And when we're constantly trying to play like 5 champions in one session and we're playing 5 different laning phases, it becomes really hard to keep consistency and to perform at our best, Seth. So that's why I really want to bring that champion pool down so that we can... Sorry, got something stuck in my throat. So that we can help fix that issue that's at the top of your mind, is how can you get a better laning phase so that you can carry more games. Now, Seth, those are the big 4 things I need you to focus on and you need to focus on in order to go from silver to gold and eventually to platinum. If you're looking for a way to accelerate this, or you're wanting a coach to help you get there in just a faster time, and you don't want to go through all the natural mistakes and potentially get stuck at some point along this journey, what I would recommend is, once you've watched this profile review, reach out to me and we can book a free one-on-one call together where I can basically walk you through exactly what a personalized coaching solution would look like for you at Silver 2 with your top lane champion pool at the moment and you're wanting to climb to platinum. We can build it all out, and then if you're happy with it, we can go ahead and actually, carry it out over the next few months, over the next season. Now, that's all I've got to say for the profile view. We'll wrap it up there. As always, cheers, good luck on the Rift, and I hope to talk to you once you've watched this, Seth.